Now I'm ready to laugh.
Dante was looking good this episode, and Naeem was looking good this episode too. But anyway, they was both looking good this episode. Okay, welcome back to my channel. This is episode 9 for Ready to Love DC. If I could say like what my energy was or how I felt watching this episode, the first 5 minutes I was like,
what's about to happen? What's gonna happen? Okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Like in my head the whole time. I was excited for some reason. I don't know whether it's because all the other episodes was kind of like leading up to like some semblance of what's happening now or what, but I was pretty giddy that first 5 minutes. But then editing struck and I started having all these questions as in previous weeks. Editing sucks. Sir, for real. This is getting ridiculous. Goodbye. We're going to recap the show, and I'm just going to point out a couple of things that stood out to me. There's a lot that I feel like they took out of these conversations, and some of the conversations I don't even feel like they were all talking about the same subject, but they edited it together to make it look like that. So, I mean, let's just start with the opening scenes. Everybody's on their way to the Sherwood Manor. It's a historic home in Maryland. They show Walter's car, who has Sabrina riding with him, and then they show Cornelius's car, who obviously, of course, Kamil's in the car, and Zadia was in the car with them. They didn't show anybody else on their way up to the mansion. So, like, how did they get there? Who did they ride with? I mean, who got there first? Like, no, what are y'all doing? Like, we want to know why Zadia had a fucking attitude. We want to know what happened. Like, something obviously, like, happened. A lot happened that we just did not see. So, we're making our conclusions off of just random stuff. So we starting out in Cornelius's car with Kamil talking about, are we sharing a room? Lady, you know damn well you're going to scare him into sharing the room anyway. So like, why is this even a conversation? And then Zadia's in the back laughing like she's trolling like shit. Asking whose house they're going to live in and all of this stuff or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Kamil set her up to ask those questions. But I think that it's been a lot that's been transpiring that just doesn't make it to the screen. Like, they're all competing for the same people, and right now it's 7 women and 6 dudes, so they already overlapping, and so some people are starting to panic. I would think that the tensions boiled over with the women before they boil over with the men. At this point, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what the real storyline is. I don't know what's going on, but Kamil got mad because Cornelius didn't answer the question of if they was gonna room together or. So they switched to Sabrina and Walter's car, and Sabrina let Walter know that she used to dance. She used to be an exotic dancer, okay? I kind of wondered at first when she first said it, is she fibbing? But then I started to think about it, and I could see her doing that. And I saw her post something on Instagram that kind of was like, okay, all right, I'll believe that she was an exotic dancer. But then Walter's like, oh, you know, it's not as taboo as it used to be, but it did send up some red flags. And everybody's like, well, why did it send up red flags? Well, because my thought would be that men know what the hell they do in those clubs, and even though he doesn't know what kind of, like, how she used to be in the club, he's probably thinking about the wildest shit that he ever seen somebody do in the club and thinking about that being his woman. So it's kind of probably a skewed view, but that's probably why it's a red flag to him, because he like, oh. Anyway, but I mean, you'd be surprised who did that shit before. But I just feel like they edited the car rides to be awkward as hell. Like, Okay, Camille's getting mad at Cornelius because he didn't answer the question right. Zadia's in the back texting. Neither Dante or Naeem they show at all. Like, how did they get there? You know what I'm saying? Who did they ride with? They didn't show who anybody else rode with. Frank and Sydney walked in the house together, so I guess we can assume that they arrived together, but they could have did a better job at least showing everybody in the car so we could see who rode with who. So they get to the house. They show the house. The house is nice. The scenery is amazing. Those views are. So they start getting settled into the house. Mumine and Walter. Mumine finds the piano room and goes to get Walter and like shows him the piano. Apparently they wrote a song together. All you gotta do is stay right, stay right. All you gotta do is stay right, stay right. I don't know. It was off key. They were off key. Somebody was off key. But she starts out by saying, like, you know, no disrespect to what him and Sabrina have. Like, this whole time to me, she is focusing solely on his other connection and not focusing on Walter. And that kind of like messed her up. Like, and she's in the Brown Girl Squad, which is her, Kamil, and Zadia. And I feel like there were other conversations had and somebody is in her head and she let that take over and she didn't even like, she wasn't even there. Yeah, she like, Walter and I have a connection and Sabrina is aware of that, so it shouldn't be anywhere, Brian. But lady, you brought weird. Like you did. Nobody else brought weird. You brought weird. So they go around and they're getting settled into the mansion, picking their rooms and stuff like that. And so Dante comes across Zadia in a room and she's unpacking or whatever. Now, Zadia greeted Naeem with a big old, well, I guess she received his big old warm hug and kiss, but she was kind of dry to Dante. Now, again, this could have been editing, but you were stank off the break to him when he arrived, so you kind of like pushed him into like going to see about Aisha. She sounded real irritated with him. And he was already like what the fuck's going on? So again, like, what did we miss? Like, what's happening behind the scenes between them? Because, like, you didn't even greet the man. So Tommy comes in and he, you know, asks them how they like the house and everything, and he's about to leave, and he like, oh, one more thing. One dude is going home tomorrow. So at this point, they are in like a competition. They already in a competition because there's more women than men, but now it's about to be one less dude. So we are really about to see people's true colors, I feel like. Because the two people that I feel like we really saw their true colors this episode was Zadia and Mumin. We already know how Kamil is, so Zadia and Mumin. I was just starting to feel Zadia too, but she goes and has like a crazy, we're going to label it a crazy woman moment. Although men have their own moments, we're going to specifically talk about crazy women moments where men just be trying to get everything to stop. Like, they're not going to say certain shit or start certain conversations or say things that will lead to a certain argument because they're just trying to avoid that shit altogether. As women, we know when we get, like, you got to know when that switch flips. You have to know when you're in those moments. You should make a practice of identifying those moments and reining that shit in. So, two examples of that were shown on this episode. The first example was Mumine. When she talks to Walter, she's not actually talking and connecting with Walter. She's talking at Walter and telling him probably everything that she had everything that she's already said in conversation with the Brown Girl Squad, because that wasn't her talking. I mean, it was her, but it was fueled by something else. Like, but I just want to say, like, why is she worried about Sabrina? Like, focus on you, boo. Anyway, back to the crazy woman moments. We can make up our own name for the crazy woman moment because y'all have to be real. Women have crazy women moments. It's a moment where we understand what's going on, but like men are probably like, this is tripping. So anyway, we can have another discussion, another video all about that. But Mumin had a crazy woman moment. I fucks with Aisha because even though Aisha had her moment at the table, when she was with the dudes, she was getting down to business, asking questions that she felt like she needed to be answered, that was important to her. She was letting them get to know her. She was being open, like, sensually open. Like, we didn't see her kissing everybody, but she was close, and she was making the men feel like they were, like she was attentive to them and open to them in that way. And so that is a skill as well. And Aisha did really good doing that. Like, yeah. Oh my God. So we get to the portion where Kamil and Cornelius are outside. Kamil done set a date for them, and she gives Cornelius a necklace. With this situation, I feel like Kamil is doing too much. Why are you buying him anything right now? Y'all just met, for real, for real. So, like, what's really happening right now? Cornelius accepted the gift like a princess. Like, it seemed like it was so awkward to me. Why are you doing this? And then she was like, oh, we both wanted to walk away. Lady, editing has done a doozy then, because we have not seen any moment where you were willing to walk away from Cornelius. So I hope they take this in consideration for the second season. Like, second season in DC, we're going to need to see we're going to need to see at least 75% of the couples, doing shit. We don't want to just assume what's going on. Like, you're putting on a TV show, so you need to be able to connect the dots for your viewers, because y'all got people out here probably hating some of the cast, and maybe they shouldn't hate the cast because y'all kept the parts out that we needed to see to make that person a lovable person. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But anyway, so back to the gift. Cornelius accepts the gift from Kamil. And Cornelius was just like, oh, thank you. Dude, no ma'am. No. Kamil, no. Now, Dante and Aisha, finally some chemistry that jumps off the goddamn screen. I really, really can feel their chemistry and that they do have a vibe with each other. I think that Aisha does a really good job at being a feminine woman. So they got to get rid of a man. Now everybody got to really, they have to have this conversation about who they're going to send home, but they got to be able to do it without getting their emotions involved, which it's not about to happen. Mumin walks back into the piano room and Walter's in there with Sabrina. Mumin immediately starts to act weird, puts the brakes on, turns around and oh, I can't go in there. And outside of that room is Cornelius and Kamil, who I feel like Cornelius may not have, but Kamil definitely probably assessed the situation, was like,
girl, no, go in there. Make your presence known. You fight for your man.
Whatever the fuck she said to make her turn around and go back in there, when she clearly did not want to be in there because her body took her out of the room. Now, let's just look at the situation for what it is. Regardless of what was edited out or whatever, you got Sabrina and Walter sitting in the room. You have Kamil and Cornelius and Mumin walking back into the room. Now it's 5 people in the room. That was cringy as hell. Like, I already know that you're feeling somebody else and I'm dating other people here and we're trying to get to know each other, but why would I want to stand in the room while you're fucking trying to work your connection out and then I try to rub the back of your head? I just want to know what Mumin was expecting to happen. You are on a dating show where you're competing for somebody's attention. You have to give the person the respect of getting to know the other women, because that is a part of the process. No, you should have you had your moment with him when y'all played the piano and you showed him the piano room and y'all played the song. Chill out. I feel like if you would have just chilled out, it would have been a total different scenario. Because how Mumin ended up acting after that was just more of her projecting her feelings in whatever conversation she's had with the Brown Girl Squad and whatever advice she's been given from the Brown Girl Squad, and it just totally led her astray. See, I really feel like I said, there's a lot we don't know, but I do know that Walter rode there with Sabrina. I don't know if he already had told Mumin that, if Mumin knew that, or whatever, but she was already feeling some type of way that Sabrina rode with Walter. They started to show them at the pool. Cornelius and Kamil over there looking like an old couple. Cornelius looked like he just wishes he could play with everyone else. And then they go to Zadia and Naeem, who are talking about the whole process or whatever. I didn't need only get it together. You got the mic dropping all in the frame and shit. Like, I don't know. I'm just starting to lose interest, unfortunately. I'm going to finish this season out, but it's like you're editing all this stuff out that, I mean, it has the cast up in arms to the point where they have to come out and like re-narrate whatever the hell happened. This is crazy. Like, I don't know. So, Zadia gets to the point where she's questioning Naeem about, where his head is at. And it's like all of the women thus far have, posed this question to some of the men that they're interested in, because women be wanting to know. We do. But men are just like, yeah. Naeem even gave a little chuckle like, here we go. Because they're probably all panicking because the men are dwindling. I want to see the behind the scenes footage. Damn it. You got Shiloh and Phil sitting by the pool. First of all, why is Phil fully dressed like he not at a pool party? Like, aren't y'all all staying at the mansion? Don't you have like swim trunks and stuff? Like, why are you fully dressed like you just got there? Did you just get there? Like, what's going on? Like, and I feel like they edited so much out of their conversation that Phil didn't really say shit. You already know. You already know though. Like, no, do I? What do I already know? Everything, he said everything but a bunch of nothing. That's all I got. And I still have to go on record and say, I find it so funny that all of these women are feeling Phil. I mean, that's a whole nother story as far as the people that they picked to be on this show, but as far as the men. But anyway, we'll see. They're supposed to do a second season. I'm going to see if it's better than this season. But like, real talk, y'all, DC dudes, the ones you probably would want to see on there would not go on a reality show. Right now, this is the best we're going to get until we see who's on the second season, but we'll see. So you got Walter and Mumin having a conversation out by the pool. I feel like Mumin was already like ready to go. Whatever side conversation she's had, whatever she's been thinking, it's that shit is all over her face and it's taken over her. She's not even able to focus on the fact that her and Walter are sitting there right now and they can talk about whatever they want. She's focused on Sabrina. Somebody's manipulating you. Like, these sound like things that she's repeating from another conversation, if you ask me. The way Walter had to sit there and explain to her, I don't, worry about, you have other connections and you got to give me the same space that I give to you. And the fact that he had to explain that, it just seems like an adult talking to a child. Not saying that Walter is the poster child for an adult, but in this moment, he's taking the time to explain to her that we are on a dating show where we're dating multiple people. So you're focused on the competition and you're telling him you're focused on the competition. Like when she said the part about when I came over to you and you didn't open up to me, how is he supposed to be while you come up while he's trying to spend time with the other person that he's trying to get to know? We haven't seen Sabrina come up to you guys while Walter was trying to spend some time with you. So what are you doing here? What did you expect to happen here? Like, why would you even put yourself in the position in this situation? If you were going to go and say, hey, come with me, I want to spend some time with you, that's one thing. But you walked in on him spending time with somebody else and you are in a game show that you signed up for to compete with other people for dates. So the way that you're acting right now, everybody's confused because it's like, what are you doing? When a dude makes a face like this, it's a wrap. You've completely No, it's a wrap. You're on a game show where you guys agreed to compete to date other people. So this conversation to me is so out of place. So then she couldn't even bring herself out of the moment of just with Sabrina on her mind. Like, Sabrina really bothers her. The fact that Walter and Sabrina have a connection really bothers her. And then, like, she ends up getting up and walking away. So I again have to go back to the age thing because, man, maybe it don't have nothing to do with age. I just don't operate like that. If I walk away from you or if I block you on social media or whatever, trust and believe I have thought to myself and said, self, I don't ever want to talk to this person again. And then I walk away. So then I really don't care what you think. But clearly we know that Mumine didn't walk away with the intention of never talking to Walter again. She walked away because some women use that tactic as, I'm going to make him chase me or whatever. And unfortunately, she's dealing with the wrong man to be chased. But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, what the fuck do I know? So now we're at the table scene. Naeem and Zadia show up hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Phil greeting people at the table. There was a lot to be absorbed in that scene. From the looks on the dudes' faces to how oblivious the women were to the dudes watching how they were acting in the moment. It was a lot of things that went on at that table scene. And I really hope that a lot of these cast members are watching themselves back on tape. And sometimes you just got to be like, oh, I was tripping. I was lunching. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's growth. So they're at the table scene. Kamil asks, well, I guess she orders Cornelius to go sit across from her, and he gets up. It was quiet as I don't know what at the table when he got up and walked around that table like, Cornelius. So then we get to the part where Aisha is like, how do y'all feel about the bomb Tommy dropped on us? Somebody got to go home tomorrow. And then Kamil is like, oh, but you good, boo. Lady, neither one of y'all are good because y'all only made one connection. And because y'all only made that one connection, everybody else is feeling like there were no connections made with that person. So you guys are very much on the chopping block. And the way things unfolded from here was quite disappointing. The part that blew me the most is that y'all didn't realize them dudes was sitting there watching how y'all was all carrying on. And I know the men was just like, nah, no thanks. Just take a look at this. I'm not saying you always want to jump in the face having a big head or something because nobody loves money. I don't like to be tried. And I mean, the funny thing to me is that in the moment, Kamil and Zadia thought they were just so cute and so on fire, and it was such a turnoff. The faces of the dudes say it all. And Kamil talking about if he get voted off the island, she said, I'll fuck y'all up. Who the fuck is scared of Kamil, number one? But number two, like, why are you saying shit like that? You are on a game show, competing for people. What are you doing? Everything is not worth a response. That's one of the main things that I realize as I'm getting older. And in this situation, Zadia ain't have to say shit. She could have just sat there. But she couldn't just sit there. She had to get into it and say something and be smart. And I guess it might have something to do with the fact that both of them were into Dante. So there could have been, I mean, the way they edited it has made it look like that's why Zadia was. So then we cut to Phil and Aisha at the piano talking about the situation or whatever. And Dante shows up, probably smelling like coconut oil with his silk robe with the birds on it. It was nothing Phil could say. He just had to watch Aisha walk away. Bars, Dante took Aisha into this room and he then brought his massage table. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, so what if so anybody could have got a massage for real, because it could have just easily been Zadia on that table versus Aisha, or both. Like, what was you going to do if you had to end up giving both of them massage? Like, I'm just saying, we know he massaged. No, we know she requested her areas of trouble was her gluteus maximus and her back. So, yeah, we can figure out how that probably ended up. You just use your imagination. I ain't say shit. The tension is still high at the liberation. Zadia is realizing that she's been put in the backseat, and ironically, she rode up in the backseat. Additionally, Mumin has realizing that she's been put in the backseat too over Sabrina, not realizing that she put her fucking self there. It gets a little heated. Tommy got to tell them to pipe it down and focus on the love. I just want to know what was all edited out. Naeem and Cornelius is in the bottom. Okay. They send Zadia on the date with Naeem to let him know whatever the results are of what they talked about. And they send Kamil on a date with Cornelius to discuss whatever it is that they talked about. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm going to scream if Kamil did all of that crying and they keep Cornelius. Like, what I want to happen is I want Kamil to tell Cornelius, you didn't make no connections with the other ladies, and so they voted you off. And then I want Kamil to be like, and I can't take it, so I'm leaving with you. That's what I want. So we can get to like the real stuff that could probably happen. Like, that's what I want to happen. I really think there's only one couple here that could probably make it. Maybe two. It's one in a possible in this group. I can't believe that we gotta wait until next week to see who the hell has to go home. It better be that we get to see who has to go home twice in the beginning and the end. So it has to be super difficult for people to watch themselves back and see different things. Hopefully they're watching and taking notes on what they can do better, and not focusing on, the things that they did and what happened. I mean, if you watch anybody long enough, you're going to find a flaw. So ain't none of us perfect. We are all human. So I do give them that grace. But listen, in my Kamil voice, we going to get this commentary out here because this is what they showed us on the show. Anyway, I can't do it like she does. But I only have two women that are in my top this week. And it's Sabrina and Aisha, because I feel like they kept it classy. I really do. The dudes that I like, I have some dudes this week that I like. I like Dante and I like Naeem for various reasons, but I'm rooting for both of them. But okay, so even though I want Cornelius to go home and I want Kamil to follow his ass out the door, I think that they might try to like play us and send Naeem home. That's all I got for this week. Next week is gonna be another crazy woman moment. We have to come up with a name for that because it seems like it's about to happen multiple times. They show us a trailer and a clip of Zadia and Dante, and I don't even remember what else happened in the other part of the clip because I was just focused on how close she was standing over him, how she was towering over him and stuff like that, like she was about to like do something. And I don't really know if that was. She probably cut all her chances of fucking with him after that point, but why was she so mad though? You didn't greet dude when he came into the mansion. You was kind of irritated. You probably realized you was turning him off with your attitude at some point. And then you like, did y'all? Anyway, we don't know. I can't wait to the reunion. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, I'm out of here. Subscribe, like, share, and comment below, y'all. Comment below. What do you think about this week's episode? I'm low key pissed that they making us wait till next week for to find out who's fucking leaving, who the man was that's leaving. Like, you gonna tell us in the beginning of the show that it's the man leaving the next morning, and then we gotta wait until all the way next week to see who it was?